Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well and keeping safe. So today I'm doing another tag video, and this one is called Low-Key Luxury Bags in My Collection. And this was created by Tabby Violet, and I was tagged by the lovely Jess from She's the Posh. So thank you so much, ladies, and I will of course link their videos in the description box below. So basically the idea of this tag is to show bags that are from luxury brands, but they are not in your face like these, right? So if you want to see what bags in my collection that are pretty low-key, then stay tuned. Okay, I have quite a lot of bags to get through, okay? So I'm just going to be really quick with each one. All right, so the first bag in my collection that I believe is pretty low-key is this Christian Louboutin, and this is called Vera Doda. And I think it's low-key because, I mean, you won't necessarily, I mean, it says Louboutin here, okay? But you're not necessarily going to sort of see it from a distance, and there is only just that signature Louboutin sort of red logo at the back, and so you're not going to see it when you're holding it like this. And even when you open it, and of course you've got the signature red, and especially if you're wearing it as a shoulder bag, and your arm goes over this, you're not going to see the Louboutin name at all. So in my opinion, I think it looks luxurious. You've got this beautiful sort of patent nude leather, but it doesn't scream designer sort of luxury at you. So yeah, I think this is fairly low-key. Okay, so the second bag that I think is quite low-key is my Fendi double baguette. Look how cute this is. Now, okay, you've got the double F at the front, but again, unless you're really familiar with Fendi brand, you wouldn't necessarily know that it's Fendi. And of course, because it's a double baguette, which means there's two openings, there's one here and there's one on the reverse side, you can always wear it with this side showing, and this just says in small writing Fendi Roma. So from a distance, you can't even really see what it is. So all you will see is just this really cute, lovely black mini bag. And yeah, I think for me, I think this is fairly low-key. Okay, so staying with Fendi, I've got the Spy bag. Now, this is one of my favorite bags. I've had this a long time, and I just think it's so beautiful. But unless you actually know what brand it comes from, you'll just see that it's a beautiful leather, sort of nappa leather bag that is so soft, and the details, you've got the beautiful woven handles, so you can see that it's really beautifully made, and it's really soft leather, so you can tell that it's an expensive luxurious bag, but not necessarily know that it's from Fendi, because it's really, the writing is really small. Okay, and so you won't see it from a distance, only if you really sort of go up close. So for me, I think this is a really sort of low-key luxury bag, but you can still tell that it's an expensive, you know, luxurious bag. Okay, so the next bag that I think is fairly low-key is my Bulgari Nappa leather tote bag. Now, yes, it's got all the gold hardware, and you've got this like a medallion here, but again, unless you look up close and see the Bulgari here, and you recognize the medallion, which is sort of almost like a Roman figurine head, you won't know what brand it is. And it says, okay, Bulgari here, but that's on the side. So when you wear it, unless you know, you might just catch a quick glimpse of it, but you won't really see the name. So, but yet you can still tell that it's a beautifully made bag. The leather is buttery soft, this beautiful sort of, what do you call it, like pleated leather. And I mean, you can tell that it's luxurious, but it just doesn't scream at you. So for me, I think it's low-key. Okay, so staying with the tote bags, this is one of my favorite, and it's the Prada nylon tote bag. Now, it just looks like any nylon bag, to be honest. There's nothing about it that shouts luxury designer if you don't see the Prada here, okay? And of course, if you're wearing it on your shoulder and you've got your arm over it, nobody can tell what bag it is, but that it just looks like a nylon bag. But I love this bag so much because it's just so easy and carefree, and because it rains in England 90% of the time, I don't have to worry about it getting wet. I can just wipe it down. And so yeah, it's just a really, really practical bag, and it really doesn't, you know, scream luxury at all, but it's just a great, great bag to have. And yeah, and for me, I think it's definitely low-key. Okay, so staying with Prada, I have my beautiful Prada Napa leather clutch bag. Now again, this is so soft. My goodness, it's just, I can't even tell you how soft it is to hold. It's buttery soft. The leather is so smooth, and it smells so delicious. It's beautifully made, and again, you can't tell that it's Prada unless you look up close and see Prada here. But if you were, you know, to use it as a clutch, you could put your hand through there if you wanted to, or even just holding it like this, you'd be sort of covering the name anyway. But again, you can tell that it's a beautiful bag, and the leather is so soft, but it doesn't scream at you. So for me, it's definitely low-key. Okay, so the next low-key bag in my collection is this Coach camera bag, which I bought last year. And those of you who followed me or watched my unboxing will know how much I love and adore this bag. And for me, it really is very low-key because it's just a really nice sort of leather camera bag with pockets. It's very functional, it's easy to wear. Yes, you've got the sort of chain detail here, but there's nothing flashy about it. It's in a really nice, easy color. They call it sage, but it's sort of like a grayish blue. And you've got the Coach here, but again, it's not really noticeable. It doesn't flash out at you. So I just think this is such a lovely, easy to wear bag. There is a touch of luxury, you know, the leather is really lovely, but it's not flashy at all. Pretty low-key in my opinion. Okay, so the next low-key bag is my Longchamp tote bag. And for me, I mean, yes, you've got the jockey here, but I mean, you can't really see it unless you go up close. And although a lot of people kind of recognize the sort of the signature Longchamp style, but then again, I think most people are more familiar with the Le Pliage line, whereas this just looks like any travel nylon bag that you can get anywhere. So really, I don't think this is flashy at all, but it's just a really great functional travel bag, and you've got the side pocket here as well. So yeah, I think this is, I don't think you can get any more low-key than that, come on. So staying with Longchamp, this is a little rucksack that I've had for, oh my goodness, probably 20 odd years. This was actually a gift to me from one of my old piano professors who taught me, you know, for a long, long time ago. She gave this to me as a parting gift when she left the country. And this bag holds a lot of sentimental value to me because I've traveled to many, many, many different countries with this. But again, unless you are really familiar with the Longchamp brand, you can just barely see the jockey here, and you've got the Longchamp there. You're not going to know what brand it is, and it's just a really nice sort of nylon sort of canvas bag, just like any rucksack that you can get from TK Maxx, right? Nobody would know that this is Longchamp. So yeah, it's so low-key. Okay, so staying with the rucksack, I've got a Versace rucksack. Okay, it's Versace, and normally, you know, Versace is loud and bold, but this one isn't, okay? This is actually a vintage Versace, and I bought this from Bicester so many years ago when Versace was actually still alive. That's how old this is. But you won't know that it's Versace unless you actually recognize this Medusa head, okay? It's so small, but it's really nice, and I've actually traveled a lot with this bag as well. I've been on many holidays because it's white and it goes really well with summery dresses. And I actually sent this to the handbag clinic because some of the stitching came off and then it got really worn in the canvas and the leather, and I had it all refurbished, so it's come back really well. But yeah, there is absolutely nothing flashy about this bag at all, unless you actually recognize the Medusa head. So for me, I think this is a pretty low-key bag, very low-key for Versace. Actually, I just dug out my other Versace bag so you can see the difference and know what I'm talking about. This is the other Versace. You see the difference? This is flash and in your face Versace. This is low-key Versace. Okay, this bag, you might disagree with me, and that's okay, but I think the Givenchy Antigona is fairly low-key because unless you actually know just by looking at the shape of the bag that immediately is an Antigona, you'll not necessarily know that it's going to be a luxury brand, okay? Because the Givenchy is fairly small here. And yes, although this particular one is a little bit more fancy than the usual sort of plain Antigona, and you know, you've got these sort of silver stud details, embellishments all the way around it. But I think, you know, when you just wear it, people just see that it's a really beautiful, structured leather bag with suede panels, but they won't necessarily know that it's Givenchy. Like I said, unless they actually recognize the shape of the Antigona. And if you look at other Antigonas, usually, like, you know, for instance, the plain black ones or just the ones in the plain sort of leather, it doesn't scream at you at all. It just looks like a really well-made, structured bag. So for me, I do think that Givenchy Antigona is fairly low-key. Okay, lastly, this is probably going to be a little bit controversial. I've included 2 Chanel bags, okay? Now, the first one is this tote bag. It's a small tote bag, and you're thinking, for goodness sakes, it's Chanel. How can it be low-key? Well, I've taken inspiration from Jess, all right, because in her video she showed, I mean, she did talk about the GST with the big double C's, but the one that she actually showed was the medallion one. And I think for this one, it's actually not really in your face. You've just got this small double CC at the front. But if you wanted to, you could wear it like this. And yes, of course, you've got the quilting, but people won't necessarily know that it's Chanel because, I mean, it's not like the classic flap, right? And also the chain is not the one with the leather woven through it. This is the bijou chain. So again, people won't necessarily know that it's Chanel. And when you're wearing it on your shoulder, you've got, you know, your arm over the Chanel double CC. People won't know that. They'll just see that it's a nice leather quilted bag. So I think as Chanel goes, this is, to me, fairly low-key, okay? Now, the other Chanel bag that I have in my collection that I think is fairly low-key is the 2.55 flap bag. Okay, so again, you won't necessarily know that it's Chanel, even though you can see the sort of quilted leather, but it's kind of wrinkly. And it says Chanel here, but you have to look up close. And there's nothing, you know, it just looks like a nice sort of leather bag. Nice design with the white leather contrasting trim. And yes, okay, you've got the strap, the leather woven strap, but then so do a lot of other handbags nowadays, you know? So you won't necessarily identify it straight away as Chanel. So I think, again, once you got it on your shoulders, you can't really tell that it's Chanel. I mean, when I wear this bag, I tend to wear it as a crossbody anyway. So for me, I don't think it screams Chanel, but you can tell that it's still an expensive luxury designer bag, but without it sort of hitting you in the face. And that's it, I think. Yeah, I think these are all the bags within my collection that I would consider low-key. So do you agree with me? Right, let me know in the comments down below what you think. And of course, I would love to tag some ladies in the description box below. And if you do want to join in, then please do so. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to see what else I get up to. So until next time, take care and don't forget to smile. Bye-bye.